Recording. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's podcast. And welcome to all of you who are looking and listening to this. Today we have a special guest, Tayla Moreau. Did I say
Hi,
it right?
everybody. Yes, you did actually get it right.
That's good. And you are from Massachusetts. And
Yes, we're in Boston, Massachusetts.
yeah. So please tell us a little about yourself, what you're doing, how you got there, and everything.
I have been riding for about 30 years now, and I got started with my grandmother in Middleborough. Um, the barn for me as a kid was always just really like a safe place to go, somewhere that I could kind of escape all like the terrible things going on as a kid that you don't want to really get into. So as I got older and started figuring out kind of who I wanted to be in life, I decided that I wanted to create that space for other kids growing up and going through those things. So our farm is really a lot of beginner adults, beginner kids, just trying to find their way in the horse world and to kind of see where it's going to take them. So it's become really barn that doesn't really focus on just hunter jumpers or western. Everyone comes in as a beginner and they all kind of find their way and what direction they want to go, and we guide them in the best way possible that we absolutely can.
Wow. So you have, how many horses do you have?
Currently on the farm, we have about 20 at this facility. We are actually getting ready to somewhat, I don't want to say franchise because we're not franchising it, but we're kind of moving our business to other locations throughout Massachusetts. So coming this month in May, our Taunton, Massachusetts location is about to be opened. That's been under construction for a couple of months. And we're going to get ready to kind of open a second facility over there. And kind of continue to reach all the kids and the adults that kind of are looking for that safe spot. So it's really cool that we've been able to not only build this facility up to a point where we can open a second facility, but also create the community around us where we've built those relationships with those people, that we have the support and the help that we need to be able to do that, to continue to handle more and more horses. Because I mean, 2 locations and 20 horses and then counting is a lot, but we have built a great relationship with our circle of people, and I'm very thankful for that.
So you have people who helps you, I reckon.
Yes, I have my business partner, Haley, and she is like the behind the scenes, keeps all the appointments in check and all of our instructors where they need to be, all of our employees where they need to be. So that way everything just runs as it should, which I've noticed in a lot of barns, that miscommunication and everyone not really knowing where their place is in their barn is where I feel a lot of miscommunications come from. And we just don't have that here. Everything's run like a business. And I think that's where we take a different turn. We do run our lesson program just like another sport. So we do have enrollments. Our kids commit to their program, and so don't our boarders and our clients coming in on training boards. So it just really continues to kind of work together. And we just, our day to day is very easy because of that.
All right. But how are your lessons? Is it as a usual riding school, or do you have something special?
We do run our lesson program very different from what my average barn usually does around here, because I'm not really totally sure what the rest of the world is doing. But around us, we did implement enrollment forms. So our students commit to a month-to-month basis. And from there, once they're committed to their enrollment, they start from level one, horsemanship one, and they work their way up the levels. And with that, our kids and beginner adults, They learn the horsemanship in the fine details of what it takes to really not only handle these animals, but understand them while they're learning to handle them as well. Because I feel like that part of it goes hand in hand once you're on that animal's back to be able to feel confident and comfortable enough to learn something that sometimes can be scary. So they spend a lot of time learning about horse communication, behavior, and just kind of learning how their body language and how they present themselves also can affect their communication with their horse. And I find that when you focus more on those things in the little details and the basics of the fundamentals of working with horses, even our youngest kids are thriving in that program because there's way more structure in the barn to be able to just kind of set a goal. So our kids do every year, we take a break for the holidays. And when they come back for the new year, they set long-term and short-term goals. And throughout the year, as they go through their semesters, and we get our, oh, lost you for a second, and we get our program up and running for the year, they go through their semesters and they make checkpoints throughout the year to make sure that they're continuing to push their lessons and their extra ride time towards their goal. So then once we kind of get towards the end of the season, we can evaluate and see just how far everybody's coming with their riding. And by doing that and creating those checkpoints throughout the year, I believe that it holds everyone accountable. It's very easy to get lost in the day to day and the week to week lessons and everything that being able to every couple of months say, hey, this is how the past 3 months have gone. Let's try to push for this goal in this next semester. It just seems to keep the kids motivated, the instructors motivated, and it keeps our horses happy. Our horses are happy when there's ground lessons and the kids are learning to brush and groom and parts of tack and their muscles and how their structure is built and why conformation is so important. So even our lesson horses, you're not finding that typical grumpy lesson horse in the barn. You're finding those horses that are excited to see their kids because not only are the kids understanding how to handle their horses, but the horses are also thankful that everyone handling them knows how to do everything properly. So there's not a miscommunication.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's a
So
lot.
they yeah, they do a lesson and they don't have to ride every time. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, because I realized that a lot of barns are like a factory.
Mhm.
You come in for your lesson, your horse is already tacked up, and then you ride and you go home. And then from there, you think that you're confident enough to buy this animal, and you realize really fast that all those little details matter.
Yeah.
They matter and they're more important than anything. So I do believe that being able to start all of my people from the ground and kind of learning that respect for these animals and continuing to just be able to come in on a really cold day or a really hot day and not worry about just riding and being able to put that animal first. Some days I do believe that it is just too hot. And if we're not getting ready for an A circuit show or the Olympics or something huge, why stress our animals out just for some ride time when there's so many other things with horses that our clients could be learning and understanding the importance of it? So, with that, we are not missing a lot of lesson time because of rescheduling due to weather because we route our lesson program to accommodate to weather in certain situations with our horses that might not allow them to be ridden that day. So not only is our farm financially not struggling from that because we're continuing to be able to run our program regardless of weather and conditions, but our clients are also learning as much as they possibly can and utilizing as much time as they possibly can in the barn.
So you have not any cranky students when they come and they can't ride.
Actually, no. It was definitely a transition when we made this
Mm,
transition to change our program, and it was scary on our end because we knew that we were gonna be kind of just the odd man out, considering every other barn was continuing to run how they were, and, the jump was scary, but as soon as everybody kind of got into the routine of it, they actually had more appreciation for it. So I noticed even my youngest kids that were just excited to ride, now they're just as excited to literally clean a stall. They see the value in it now, and that I feel is so, so important. Like, for example, we have camp going on this week. It's actually April vacation from school, and all of our kids filed in this morning, and they had the option to ride first thing this morning, and they chose to help with chores. And they all grabbed a pitchfork and jumped in their horse's stall, and just the barn got done in a half hour because all the kids worked together and now they're enjoying their day. So they see that the teamwork goes hand in hand with being able to keep the barn running as smoothly as it does. But it also is really nice to see the kids be able to choose between riding and horsemanship. And now they're choosing the horsemanship because they see how important it is to keep our horses as healthy and as happy as they are. So that way, when they are choosing to ride, they are enjoying their time in the saddle even more now because they have that better understanding for all aspects of it. And we are just huge on behavior in the barn. We work very closely with our parents for grades and behavior at home as well as in the barn. That teamwork goes hand in hand with everything, that we just don't have any of the issues of fighting or miscommunications or even kid drama. And we're a barn that's dominated with teenagers. So it just makes it that much easier that they're all a lot happier to come in and just do the work.
wow. It sounds like paradise.
We try to make it function just like that. We want to be able to be excited to get to the barn when we walk in the morning.
Yeah. Because I have been spoken to other people who have riding schools, and they say, "Oh, it's difficult to get the students to this theory lessons and all that. They just don't just want to ride." And also a pressure from parents sometimes.
Um, that was one thing that I did also run into was the parents that they wanted to do right by their kids, but they just didn't fully understand just how in-depth this sport really can be. So what really helped me when I implemented the enrollment forms and changing my program to both in the saddle and out of the saddle was adding in the progress reports just like school. In the way that me and Haley decided to run our farm was if we are going to be a riding school, we are going to treat it just like a school. So when we decided to do that, we added in our curriculum, our what's the word I'm looking for? Our curriculum, just like our boundaries, what our expectations are and what you should hold us accountable for, but what we're also holding you accountable for. And then once we implemented the progress reports in our semesters as well, not only did that help the kids understand where they're at in their riding levels and how they could progress to do better, but it also helped the parents understand, oh, my child has to learn and confidently execute X, Y, and Z through level 1 and 2 before they can even think about getting to level 6. And laying that out on paper for parents to understand was definitely the biggest help to avoid those conflicts as far as trying to explain to parents why it's so important that they know all aspects of these things. And that definitely made a huge difference. And it actually turned parents into they like the ground lessons now, and I now had to implement kinda mother and daughter rides, and even a lot of fathers have gotten involved, and now I have my parents jumping into our lesson program just as much as the kids, And now it's become like a family thing. Then they buy their family horse and they all do this together, and there's just a way better understanding for it. And I just, if I could give anybody any advice for their riding school, it's to turn around and treat it like a school. These kids are learning, and it's super important that as instructors and barn owners, we are holding ourselves accountable for what we value in our teaching. And that has proven time and time again to be so beneficial for my students that venture off the farm to go take lessons with other instructors or ride their friends' horses. And it's just a really nice thing to get the feedback after my kids venture out to somebody else that they showed up and they knew what they were doing confidently. And I think that is more important than where they're at in their riding.
Mhm.
If they can show up and know where their level of riding is and execute those things confidently and clearly when I'm not with them, I think that is super, super important for them to be able to continue their riding journey. Because one thing I do always promote is that we all are always learning. I love to send the kids off with tasks, week to week, as far as if there's something I found that I didn't know, we're gonna learn this together and research it together and continue to grow as a barn. So I do think that it's very important that the kids see that even I'm always learning with them and that you're not ever going to stop learning throughout your career with horses, no matter what direction that decides to take you. And I think that setting up our enrollment forms the way that we did in our lesson program the way that we did, that made a huge impact on them, and they're realizing just how much they can really get into this.
Mm.
It's just a lot.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I'm sure that these kids are much more prepared if they are going to buy their own horse or as you say, going to ride other people's horses. They can read what the horse is saying and don't take any risks.
Yeah, and I will say that is a huge difference in injuries.
Yeah.
I really don't run into a lot. I'm gonna knock on wood, but we don't run into a lot of injuries at all because not only do my kids know their limits, but they know our horse's limits. So if there's something that they're struggling with in or out of the saddle, they know when to walk away, when not to drill it, when to kind of say, you know what, I've had a good seat lately, I'm gonna try this, or like they know when to push and when not to. But I've also found when there is a mishap and there is a fall or a mistake, it's way more understood. There's
Mhm.
way less of the fear of the fall because they're understanding their horse also has feelings and they're treated like a partner in this sport and not an object. So I have noticed, and I'm very proud of, when my kids hit the deck, the first thing that they're getting up and checking is their horse, as long as they're okay, which they usually are. But they get up and their first thought is, "Where's my horse? I need to check my horse." And they run them over and they realize really fast that it's not what their horse intended. There's just always going to be a miscommunication and not everything's going to be perfect. And we have to learn to forgive them. I like to bring it back to treating them like a person. And I bring it back to they have feelings. Even the most brave person can get scared sometimes. And they just don't mean those things. And you can't take a million good rides and hold a grudge against that horse for one bad ride because you
No,
wouldn't hold that grudge against your friend.
no.
And that really helps, especially with my more timid kids when they get a little nervous. It helps them to kind of break it down and understand that it's not something the horse meant to do. And if we have to rebuild some trust, then that's where we start. And we just go back to the ground.
Mm.
And they love that. They love the relationship it builds, and they also love the confidence it brings them to kind of work through a fear and overcome those things in the safest environment they possibly can.
Yeah, that's great. What kind of horses do you have? Is it everything or?
We have a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Personally, the farm owns about 7 or 8 horses. We have a fleet of lesson horses, and we have anything from my personal horse is a Percheron thoroughbred cross. We have a cute little Shetland pony, a cute little, like, large mixed pony. We make fun of her that she looks like a donkey sometimes. And then we have our trusty quarter horses. They take care of everybody. So those are the best ones that we have that just are steady eddies. And then our Appaloosas. We have found that the Appaloosas are the hardy ones and the ones that have just enough spice that they're going to give our kids a little bit of problems, enough that they're still safe in the saddle, but testing their abilities to be able to move forward in life. The Appaloosas have been fun to work with. But, and then we have our boarders, and we like our boarders because we promote more beginner friendly. We hold your hand while you learn how to own your own horse. So we have a lot of quarter horses, a lot of draft crosses, a lot of ponies. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else we have in the barn that's kind of fun. We have like a one of our lesson horses is like a Mustang cross. She's a blast. But she's probably the coolest one just because she is beautiful. She's a sooty buckskin, so all the kids love her because she kind of
Mhm.
changes in the winter. She gets darker in the winter, lighter in the summer. So she's a barn favorite for sure.
Yeah. That's that's great. Yeah. So anything more you have to tell about it?
It is a lot. We
Yeah.
all of our lesson horses we actually named after Disney movies to fit the
Mm.
role of kids. So that is another fun thing that we have. We have a mix of Disney names, anywhere from Jasmine, Miko, Chip, Dasher, Dep. Yeah, we just named them
No,
all
no
after
Donald
Disney.
Duck.
Not yet. We have a list. Yeah, not yet. We have Spirit. We do have Spirit in the barn,
Okay.
and he is the favorite. Everyone loves Spirit.
Mm.
So we had to buy a Spirit to promote our kid-friendly barn, you know? So everybody comes in to say hi to Spirit, even if you don't ride. He is just an eye catcher from the road, especially. So we get a lot of visitors that want to come in, take their pictures, and then when they find out that's what his name is, they love it.
Mm.
They absolutely love it. But yeah, we just kind of really encourage everybody to kind of remember their why. That's a good one. They remember their why they came into the barn and they wanted to learn how to ride, because I feel like that becomes forgotten throughout your journey that you learn in your growing in your riding career. And I think that's really important to just remember that there was one day where we all just loved horses and we walked into a barn and decided this is where we wanted to be. And I truly believe that the barn should be a happy place where everybody can kind of walk through those doors and forget their day. Forget what was wrong, forget what ruined your world or whatever was going on, and know that those people are there to support them regardless of what their goals are, and to be able to just enjoy being with their horses. And that is something that I feel a lot of people are starting to lose in the horse world. And I just can't stress how important we feel that is. So there are people that come in here that don't even ride their horses. They're just here to love, and that is also okay.
Mm.
It's okay to wanna do groundwork, riding, whatever direction you wanna take your riding in, but as far as the typical barn that pushes you to be on a show team, pushes you to ride a certain discipline, we just don't believe in that, because I just don't believe in really pushing anyone to do anything that they don't wanna
No.
do. We're here to enjoy it, and if you're just enjoying it and you're doing right by your horse and you're learning something along the way, then we're happy, and I think that that makes a huge difference in where people wanna be.
That's right. I always said you should have fun with your horse. No pressure. Not these big competitions and all these things, and it also makes in the barn that if children are compete, they will feel unsure and pressed.
Yeah, and that was another thing that we noticed in just what I learned throughout my years growing up in different barns, that a lot of the kids were just kind of like competitive towards each other, which I love that to an extent. Push yourselves to like be better every single time,
Mhm.
but I also really push the fact that we are a team here. So, as much as they push each other to accomplish their goals, we also are a united front no matter what. So, we do push for our show team. The kids that do want to compete, we show up as a team and we're there as a team and we go home as a team. Even if you're competing in the same class as another student, take turns winning
Mhm.
is what I tell them. But they all are required to show up in full circle attire. So that way they show up representing their barn and their friends. Our horses show up matching, our employees show up matching, and we go into the ring as a united front. And I think that makes a huge difference with my kids that are going into their first class or their first show. Typically would be nervous, but it's a lot less nerve-wracking when you're going in with your friends and your support group.
Mm.
So now I have noticed that even going off property and going to scary shows for my kids that are going in for the first time, they're not scared because they're going in and they know that they have a support system. And I feel that makes their rides and their day that much better because they're not stressed about embarrassing themselves or making a mistake or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, they know their why and they know that they're here to have a good time. And if they know that they make it in and they make it out safely, I'm happy.
Mhm.
And that's all that really matters, and I've noticed a huge difference in my kids off property pinning in their classes more consistently because they're not in their heads, and I just think that makes a world of difference.
Mhm. And they have all the groundwork, so they are not that nervous. Many times when you get a pony and now you're going to do this because you have this fine pony and the parents are pressing and everything. So when
Mhm.
they have all these groundworks and the team behind them, it's a whole other feeling, I can imagine.
It's a whole other feeling, and it's just something that I've noticed is not as common around here to the point where we last summer had to put, a block on how many more clients we could take because people were seeing us at horse shows and they noticed the united front that they were flooding in throughout last summer, that we ran out of lesson spots until I could hire more people because everybody just wanted to be a part of that team feeling where they had the matching shirts, the matching horses, like they all just loved the idea of it, that we had more and more people noticing the difference in just how we presented ourselves as a whole, that was really cool to see people noticing and wanting to kind of jump in and join the team. And we've been able to acquire some really cool people by that, and that's just from kind of word of mouth and just getting out there and kind of broadcasting what we're all about, because I do realize that it is a little bit more of a different approach. And I do feel like it is working. And every year we do sit down and we say, okay, well, we really loved that we added this year, but this didn't really work out as much. And we regroup every year to kind of see what is going to be better to continue to not only help our clients reach their goals, but me and my business partner, Haley, reach our goals as barn owners and where we want to see our program take off to, and kind of what direction we would like to see the horse world, with the smaller horse world, kind of take that leap into a better community.
Yeah, that's
And I
fantastic.
think,
And
thank
and
you.
yeah, and I think that a lot of riding schools could learn something. So you maybe share your concept.
Well,
That,
hopefully soon we'll be sharing our concept to more than just 2 locations. We are
yeah.
hoping that that kinda takes off and we can kinda continue to put a full circle equestrian in as many towns and states as we possibly can. So we will eventually be kind of moving all around and trying to get more lesson barns to treat it more like a school and create a curriculum if you don't want to use our curriculum and just kind of help them figure it out to work a little bit better. And I would love to see Full Circle Equestrian kind of take that and launch it and just kind of be the starter point of that idea. But if not, and people just take bits and pieces of this that work for them, then that's even that little bit of a start as well.
Mm. Yeah, fantastic. I love it.
Thank thank you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a very different approach, which is just works. It really does just work. In remembering that it's a place to be happy. As soon as you're finding yourself in a spot where you're resenting the barn or you're resenting a horse or you're just frustrated, that's a time to take a deep breath and step back and remember why you're here. Remember
Mm.
it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, and I can imagine it's a much better place to work as well when everybody take their responsibilities. There's no arguing and all these things.
Yeah, there really isn't. We make that very clear though. We do implement a 3-strike warning system, just like you would in school, detention or suspension or whatever the case may be, a written warning, like whatever works for your barn. As soon as we implemented that there's a 3-strike warning rule, we never had to use it.
Mm.
So it was just the idea of it that really put everybody in line as far as if they see something that's not in their spot, they put it away. If they see a kid struggling, they help each other. I have found that now that my enrollment in curriculum has taken off and my students are used to this type of program, not only is it helping me now as an instructor, but it's also helping them kind of learn who they want to be. So I actually have kids now that are apprenticing and working towards setting their own goals to become their own instructor one day because they have found that just being in the barn and helping the kids that don't know something they do know, that they like to teach and they like to help. And now I have noticed I just oversee the program now. My kids are teaching each other and they're helping
Yeah.
each other. And when I'm working with one kid, I know that if another kid needs something, somebody else is already right there with them. So that alone has made a huge difference in the ability to be able to have more and more kids in the barn with less risk because they are all working together and looking out for each other. And that I think is really cool to see kids decide, I want to be an instructor or I want to be a barn manager, or even as far as massage therapy or veterinary work, they're all kind of now realizing there's more than just the riding and they can take so many different routes in the horse world
Mm.
that we even have one kid that's starting to look into acupuncture with horses.
Mm.
So there's a lot of different dynamics going on in the barn where now some of my kids are coming in and teaching me, and that part is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
they're all
yeah.
just learning everything.
What can you say? It's just
Right.
oh, it sounds so very organized and good, and everybody knows what to do in certain cases and everything. Because sometimes you just don't know if you are on a place. What can I do? How can I help? But if you have this going on all the time, it's yeah, the kids know
Exactly.
what they
And
can do.
exactly, and I do believe as much as the lesson program is this organized, so is our barn. So our boarders are treated like a totally different entity from our lesson clients. And I do believe that keeping your barn organized in these different sections does help keep that much more organized as far as lesson clients, boarders, and just our day-to-day barn activities. So our boarders are kept just as much in the loop as our lesson clients. We send out monthly newsletters so everybody knows what's going on in the barn and what activities they might want to jump into. But along with our scheduling program, we send out our communications every month as far as when the vet will be here, farrier, hay deliveries. Our boarders are, we acknowledge that our boarders are trusting us to take care of their animals. So in a perfect world, this should be their home away from home. They should know when their horse's groceries are being delivered, or when the last time they got a bag of shavings were, or when the last worming cycle was. So there are absolutely no secrets in our barn as far as what goes on day to day. Every horse's stall has a sheet on it behind their name tag, in every single thing that was done with your horse, if you were not in the barn, is logged, as and especially medical. If we find anybody sick, that's logged immediately. If we find that anybody has lost a shoe and we found it then, that's logged immediately. So that way, if we're not physically in the barn when a horse owner gets here, and they have questions about the day or the week, they can just lift their sheet and know, okay, he was wormed, he got his shoes on, he had shavings this day, he had to stay in. So then that way there is no constant communication through the phone. So I do have an hour of time to set aside to hang out and talk with you, because everyone's questions are already answered without me even having to talk to them. And then when they do have something last minute they need, or an emergency, I am available for that, to be able to fix it, work with them to kind of get everything back in order. But as far as communication goes, we believe that is the most important thing in our barn. And to be able to keep multiple locations functioning appropriately with a full lesson program and a full barn, that is number one. So newsletters go out, invoices go out. There's no secrets as to what your board payment should be every month, because everything was logged and invoiced. That our payment cycle is very easy, and it just, I do believe that the more people start to see that their barn could be run more like a business and not just the day-to-day hustle, it just makes a huge impact on their happiness and being
Yeah.
able to enjoy what they're doing. And I do believe that we would see a lot less barn owners and instructors feel burnt out if they were just a little bit more on top of how they wanted to really navigate their business.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. Yeah, something to learn. That's
Yeah,
great. Great,
definitely
great.
something really
Yeah.
to just kind of like start thinking about and looking into and seeing what works for your barn. And if something that I have said is going to work for somebody else, I really love that. But I do know that every barn has a different setup. And I do believe that learning your facility setup and how it should run routinely makes a huge, huge difference. Morning shifts, midday shifts, afternoon shifts, and evening shifts, those are very important to know what tasks are getting done during which, so they all get done the same time every day. And then you just know what you're going into every single day, and everything gets done accordingly and on time. And yeah, it's just fun. I mean, you don't walk into a barn very often and you see all the kids and all the adults like singing down the aisleway
No.
as they're cleaning stalls. It's just not very common, because everybody's just trying to get their chores done to get to the next task. But we know what time we have, so we can set aside that time to play. And I think that is very important for the kids to see, that you can still get the dirty jobs done, but still have fun with them as well.
Mhm.
And maybe that's why they decide to clean stalls instead of ride. It's a concert.
Yeah, definitely much to learn.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Mm.
just it is a blast. It is
Yeah.
absolutely a blast to be able to see an idea that me and Haley had come up with. And, like, we just kinda, like, thought of this idea one day, decided that we were gonna kinda run with it, and to see it continued to come to life and each year get better is just so much fun, and to be able to do that with my best friend at the same time is even more fun. We're very
Mm.
thankful for what we get to do every day.
Yeah. I can imagine. A happy place to be. Whatever can you ask for? It's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but I think that's a very good example of what we're doing here.
So where can people find you? Do you have Facebook or
We do have Facebook and Instagram. We are on Facebook as Full Circle Equestrian, located in Berkeley, Massachusetts, and soon to be Taunton, Massachusetts as well, because I had said that we are getting ready to open multiple locations. And on Instagram, we are also Full Circle Equestrian on there as well.
That's great. That's great. So everybody, if you are in the neighborhood and wants to see this, yeah, here you are.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for telling us about this. Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I want to share it to every riding school because I think many riding schools need something like this. Maybe not exactly, but just to
Right.
spare the horses and to have a happy environment and yeah, get along with each other, not this pressure always.
Exactly. Just continuing to promote the sportsmanship and the
Mm.
horsemanship of what this sport entails is so, so important. And I am very thankful that you decided to have me on your podcast.
Thank you so much for coming. It was really a pleasure, and good luck in the future with all your new projects. I really hope that it will expand.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thanks to you all of you who have been listening and looking at this. And please subscribe to the podcast because it helps me to find new people every Sunday. So thank you so much, and thanks to you for coming today.
Thank you guys.
Bye bye.